up? It's your boy Heaven Hollywood back on the IE Network. This is the Heaven Hollywood Report, and let's get to it. Shout out to my sponsor in case you didn't know. That's icydk.blog. Once again, icydk.blog. Make sure you'll check them out on all mobile devices and the World Wide Web. So we got a lot of things to discuss. Let's get it kicked off with NBA Youngboy. Now, NBA Youngboy, we're still waiting for the projections, from his new album. But let me just go over some of the things. The NBA Youngboy is out here breaking records. All right? So, let's see here. If you look on the chart, it says NBA Youngboy has now earned over 4 billion on-demand streams in the U.S. in 2022, joining only Drake as the only artist to reach this milestone. NBA Youngboy and Drake. And when I said he's up there, y'all was telling me, nah, he's just local. But 4 billion on-demand streams. And only him and Drake. And people was telling me people hotter than Drake. Who? Other than Youngboy. But Drake fell off. Drake is trash now. The other thing about NBA Youngboy, the last Slimetto, looks like the name of his album. All right, and there's another thing that he did that also joined Lil Wayne. Right now, of course, it took. So his song off of his album took over #1 on iTunes. It actually overtook "Break My Soul" from Beyonce. All right. That's the one we said about the 4 billion streams. So he also officially surpassed 11 billion YouTube views. Youngest to ever do it. What is he, 22, 23 years old? Wow. And then, of course, Youngboy surpasses Lil Wayne in Juice WRLD and is now the 5th rapper with the highest certified digital singles. That's 76.5 million units as a lead. So, man, here is Youngboy again. Free Dem Fives. Okay, it surpassed Break My Soul. Debuts at #1 on the global Apple Music singles charts. So, as I said, I use the singles chart for accolades, but when it comes down to records and stuff like that, when the charts come at the end of the week, I don't care nothing about the Apples and the Spotify and stuff like that. But when you talk about accolades, you have to factor them in there. So they're waiting to see what's happening with his album. The projections still aren't out yet. I did listen to a little bit of it. He's also got the #1 album on Apple, taking over Renaissance. This boy is doing damage. And he reaches a new peak on Spotify Daily Top Artists in the U.S. 13 slots. You know who's ahead of him? Drake. The guy that y'all said is washed and finished, mid, trash. Drake's ahead of him. Taylor Swift's ahead of him. And the #1 artist on the Daily Top Artist is Bad Bunny. So let me know, have you checked out that Youngboy album? He is a free agent. They are going to be knocking down the doors trying to get him in a deal. So, shout out to NBA Youngboy. But on to Miss Melyssa Ford. Now, Melyssa Ford, she was on a podcast with Claudia Jordan called Out Loud. It was Beyond the Ballers and Bottles. Is life as a video vixen really lit? And she released some information that she'd been holding in for some years. She said on the set of the Ghostface Killer Search Shayla Ghost music video, where they booked two floors in the Parker Meridian Hotel in NYC. She was in the crafts and services room where all the snacks and food were. While she was in there, one member of Wu-Tang's entourage came in. She did not say who, came in and greeted her. She didn't think anything of it. Then she said before she knew it, like 7 guys were in the room. One of them complimented her appearance, and then all of them started raving about how she looked, and then they all got closer and closer to her, she said, and into my space. Then they started by touching her face, then other parts of her body. So I'm sure ass, waist, I'm saying, so she says that as much as she was very uncomfortable and scared, she didn't really know how to stand up for herself, didn't want to rock the boat, and still wanted to be called back for the next or another project. Just then, a member of the crew walked in to get some snacks and saw that she was uncomfortable, so he told her that she was needed elsewhere on set. She added that she didn't know what she would have done if that crew member hadn't walked in at that moment. So Melyssa Ford, as we all know or may not know, she's known as to a lot of people as the GOAT of video vixens. I mean, she was that girl in the late 90s, especially early to mid 2000s. She was that girl. So from Toronto, Canada. Ironically, Drake used to date her. You know, she recently came out and said Drake was dating her and Takara at the same time. And that also went undetected. So Melyssa Ford doesn't have a juicy mouth. She knows how to keep a lot of stuff in. But you can imagine if this happened to Melyssa Ford, then it was happening to, what about some of the other girls who were not as popular as Melyssa Ford, didn't have as much cachet as Melyssa Ford, and let them guys do what they wanted because they wanted to be called back. Or they didn't want, usually a lot of times when you tell these dudes no, these rappers will then blackball you and tell them, hey, don't call her, she's trouble, and stuff like that. So, especially to the early, mid-2000s, these artists and photographers, everyone was taking advantage of these urban models and video girls. And it was most of the time the directors and the artists taking advantage of the video girls. So Melyssa said that she don't know what would happen. And that's crazy. If you're getting into the industry, I'm just going to give you some advice. If you're getting into the industry, if you want to get into the industry, and you want to do music, well, there's really not video vixens anymore. Instagram pretty much dead at that. But if you want to get into the modeling game, be very careful about how you submit your work, about callbacks and what have you, because when they call you in and they say, hey, wear something revealing or wear something sexy, at that point you better not even go, because I'm letting you know what time it is with that. So thank God that member walked in of the Wu-Tang entourage. Moving right along to Irv Gotti and Ashanti. And Irv Gotti was on Drink Champs, and he was just spilling his own tea everywhere. So as we know, Irv Gotti was the executive producer and founder of Murder Inc. Records. Put out many hits, just sold his catalog, the whole Murder Inc. catalog, for over $300 million. Was responsible for big hits by Ja Rule, Ashanti, Charlie Baltimore, Jennifer Lopez, Lil Mo, Nas, like Jay-Z. I mean, Irv Gotti is definitely a big staple in the world of hip-hop. What happened was when all the people thought that it was Ja Rule messing with Ashanti, it was actually Irv Gotti. Irv Gotti was having an affair with Ashanti, and he basically was telling people on the Drink Champs that the song Happy, one of her biggest songs, came right after they slept together. So Irv... Irv, he admitted, he's saying that he was in love with Ashanti, and he was upset how he found out about her and Nelly, saying that he found out about them at the basketball game and what have you. And Irv Gotti, something else. And then, funny as it seems, Nelly pulled Ashanti up on stage. And what you did not get a chance to hear, Nelly said at the end, want to go to a basketball game? You know, poking fun at Irv Gotti. So let me know what you think about that whole thing. Irv, you were married. Talking about, oh, the woman I love was messing with this M-word. Moving on to Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj. Now, if you did not see, Megan Thee Stallion, I think I brought this up in another video, was going on kind of like a Twitter rant about being sabotaged. She's saying everything I do gets sabotaged. You know, at this point, hotties need to come into the studio. Now there was word out that her new album, I think it's called Traumazine, has been leaked. I mean, how is Traumazine leaked and there was no date for it? Nobody gave a release date for it or anything. So how is it leaked already? So people were thinking that after Nicki Minaj made that comment, people thought that Nicki Minaj was talking about Megan Thee Stallion when she made the comment, oh, everybody got to do a press release, child. You know, I think there was an announcement that Megan was going to host Saturday Night Live or Jimmy Fallon or something like that. I think it was Jimmy Fallon. Nicki then put out that tweet. Some people thought that it was referring to Megan Thee Stallion. Then Megan Thee Stallion came back and said, girl, whatever, or something like that, with a LOL. And then a lot of people, of course, speculated she was talking to Nicki Minaj. Then they thought that when she said the tweet about we don't like each other, stop saying my name, everyone went off on a rampage and said, oh, she's talking about Nicki Minaj. She was not talking about Nicki Minaj. She was talking about Carl Crawford. All right, if you don't know who Carl Crawford is the CEO of her record label, 1501, who she says doesn't like her. So Carl just recently did another interview where he mentioned Megan Thee Stallion again. And that's what she was referring to. If you don't like me, I don't like you, you don't like me. Stop saying my name. I don't understand how people could say, she was talking to Nicki Minaj. Have you ever heard Nicki Minaj say Megan Thee Stallion's name? No. She's never called her name. So why would she be referring to Nicki? Y'all just want something to pop off. Megan Thee Stallion, other than subliminals, Nicki Minaj, other than subliminals, have never said each other's name. So just want people to know that that was not about Nicki Minaj. That was about Carl Crawford in 1501. Jeez, thank God I got that out of the way. Finally, just want to make a correction. People were saying, you know, about the Drake situation. Oh, yeah, he was just saying that Cardi B was the best not long ago. He actually didn't say that. I just want to clear Drake's name. And it feels like I'm always defending Drake. He didn't say Cardi B was the best. What he said was, y'all the hardest working female in the game, or hardest working female in rap. Cardi B. He didn't say the best. All right, now this was during, I believe it was an OVO Fest that he brought Cardi out on. All right, and people were saying, "Oh, how could he bring Cardi out and then bring Nicki out?" But if you do not remember, I believe that was during the time when him and Nicki just got back cool. I believe she had just left Meek and went back to OVO, if I'm not mistaken. So they weren't in a good place then. But again, that was then. This is now. Nicki's already admitted that they always have fights. So that was then. But he didn't say the best. He said hardest working female in rap. It's your boy Heaven Hollywood for the IE Network. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends.